All right, so you came out with some outlooks for 2026. How much of this is dependent on not only getting a cut today, but the Fed continuing to cut?
You know what? They're really not. These are the longer term themes, right? So each year we really try to pull back the aperture at TD Cowen and look at the broad investment themes that are really multi decade in nature. So it's actually an opportunity in a way to step back from things like rates over the next few years and think of the bigger picture things that are really going to drive investment themes. So I would start actually, instead of rates, I'd start with demographics and demographic catalysts. So things like the aging population, because the data there are really stark. And I think that over, tens and 20 years, those are going to be the kinds of movers that are really shaping the landscape we're looking at.
All right, let's talk about that because you're alluding to it. But one of the very interesting data points I saw was that we're at peak 18-year-olds. Now, what does that mean for not only the economy, but for the markets, that you're expecting to see a decline of about a couple million 18-year-olds over the next couple years?
I know, isn't that amazing? So I think that it says a few things. I mean, for one, even in terms of preferences, you start to see the dominance of Gen X over the younger cohorts. Think of things like Stranger Things on Netflix. So you see some of those preferences coming out. But I think it does. So it's certainly going to have an impact on consumer brands. They're going to have to adapt to those preferences. But I think it's also going to feed things like focus on healthcare, aging population, and so forth. So I think that that's where AI also starts to come into play as well. I think similar to some of the guests you had on earlier, and yeah, I think that the youth dominated sort of
Okay.
brand culture that we've had for the last several years is going to change.
All right, so healthcare innovation, that's another theme that you're looking at. Interesting enough, Wells Fargo came out with a note seeing healthcare as one of the biggest beneficiaries of AI advancement, cutting labor cost, improving margins. But when we're talking about innovation, is that driven by AI or is there innovation in some other area?
I think it's both. I think it's really accelerated by AI for sure. But we have a long history in the US of healthcare innovation. And I do think an aging population is really going to spur on a resurgence of that. One thing I'd point to is a new executive order from the Trump administration called the Genesis Mission. And that is calling on 17 national labs in the country to use AI with all of the data that we have at our disposal to really spur on innovation. So I think the backbone is there, but I think AI can really, really speed it up.
All right, one of the other themes is artificial intelligence and autonomous vehicles. With the
Yeah.
decline of 18-year-olds, we're also seeing our population get older. And you're saying that's a big tailwind for autonomous vehicles. Now, of course, as you get older, some people lose the ability to drive. But is there something else about the population getting older that's a tailwind for autonomous cars?
Well, I think that part of it is exactly what you say. I think it's also that autonomous vehicles could really help to adapt to different trends and where people want to live as well. So an older population does tend to be more ex-urban, and so I think that having the ability to have robo taxis and so forth is certainly going to be helpful there. But I think it's also a tailwind because, and this is where AI becomes a tie-in as well. You're going to have so much more focus on logistics and pathways for getting people to and from care facilities, hospitals, a whole ecosystem of elder care, and autonomous vehicles can certainly play a role in that.
Yeah, I want to get to one of your picks. It's actually Apollo Global Management. And part of the reason why it's your pick from one of your analysts, Bill Katz, is that the population is getting older and they're going to look for investment solutions. Can you just kind of spell out that thesis and why Apollo in particular is a beneficiary of that?
Sure. They have a great range of products. So certainly they have a lot of those income-based products that are particularly well suited to an older population. And then when you're talking about the generational wealth transfer, that's already started, but with so much more underway, tens of trillions of assets moving around. They have the different tools and solutions for that. But what I think they also have is a play on the rest of the population with broader wealth democratization because they are in private credit. They are bringing alternatives to 401ks and so forth. And that's a big growth opportunity for them that is, still, very much ahead of them.